Right then, welcome back to the channel. It is preview time. Manchester United against Tottenham. This is a big game for both teams at the moment. Both coming into this on the back of wins in the FA Cup. United beat Wigan, obviously. And, we had Diogo Dalot score, as well as Bruno Fernandes from the penalty spot. Spurs beat Burnley with a bit of a last-minute banger from Pedro Porro. And Spurs don't have a bad record in the Premier League of late. 4 wins, 1 defeat in their last 5 games. They've turned around that horrendous form, which me and Ash had a little wager about. And United have won just 1 in our last 5, which leaves us 8th. Now, Postecoglou is extreme. It's always press high. It's always want possession. It's attack extensively with rotations, commit fullbacks into advanced areas centrally, and attack. The formation is a 4-2-3-1, but it looks fuck all like that at any point in the game. They'll set up differently in and out of possession. When playing out from the back, one of the main features that Spurs have is fullbacks that come inside as false fullbacks and position themselves narrower. The objective of this is to attract the opposition forward and midfielders into open and wide areas, and the shape can be described as a 2-3-5 plus the goalkeeper at the back along with the false fullbacks. Double pivots out of possession, but the deepest midfielder will always play like a little bit of a single pivot, and the other midfielder steps up into that right-hand side pocket. And both wingers keep the width to sort of pin the opposition fullbacks or wing-backs back, and the second midfielder occupies the left space. So there's loads of passing options as soon as you get the ball past that first line, past your defenders really, into that sort of second line where there's 3 players. From there, they build out, and there's lots of opportunities for angles and stuff like that. Thanks to the positions of both the fullbacks and the wingers, there generally happens to be open space and channels towards each flank and space out there where the attacking midfielders sort of roll into to receive the ball. Opposition fullbacks being pinned by their wingers, and the forward players, the forward wingers, dragged inside towards where the fullbacks are, mean that quite often you're seeing people picking up the ball in those areas totally unmarked. It's brilliant. In case the opposition fullback does try to step up and apply a little bit of late pressure, the attacking midfielder can play in behind, mainly by using the fullback inside as a third man. So they'll just speed up the tempo, go one touch and go bob round him, and then you've got a winger now who's unmarked, probably on the halfway line. So it's a dangerous situation. And it's annoying because you've got to figure out something to do with it. Otherwise, you're just allowing them to play out with the ball every single time. In the final third of the pitch, their automatic movements in the wide areas are really, really effective, and it's worked really well for them so far. The basic shape is the same. It's a 2-3-5, but because of the flexibility that they have in the final third, the fullbacks and attacking midfielders will often swap positions with each other. It's probably difficult to train, but looks really fluid on the pitch. And it all starts with the pass to the winger, and a winger that prefers to dribble inside rather than going forwards. Kulusevski, for example, does this on the right. Brennan Johnson does this on the left. One of their keys is the rotation in that wide area. So as soon as the winger gets the ball, the closest player to him makes a run in behind into the channel. The first thing that happens there is the fullback goes, shit, do I stick with the man with the ball? If I stick with the man with the ball, this guy going to be running off my shoulder behind me. And it's all about making players make decisions like that. Trying to get into 2v1 positions or 3v2 positions is what you want to do. And that's one example of how Spurs do this really, really well. And then it can give that winger, the man in possession, 2 options. He either keeps the ball, even if the fullback just gets distracted by the run of the other man, that can be enough to give you the space to get a cross or a shot off. If he follows the run, well, you're in space, aren't you? So, it's a great little move. But again, it's why Spurs often find themselves in games of basketball, because they can't both sustain the pressure at the one end of the pitch and the overloads and the overlaps at one end of the pitch, and also contain it when they lose it. So quite often you see games become seriously transitional. They are the kings of finding that third man run. And it can come from anyone and it can come from anywhere because people are encouraged to just get forward and find space. And that makes it really difficult to track. You'll see wingers, attacking midfielders, fullbacks even getting behind in and beyond into the box, which again makes it really, really difficult to pick up, but also means that it's really difficult from a Spurs perspective to hold on to any sort of structure that's going to see you in a good place to recover the ball. I don't like it myself. I wouldn't play like that. I like to have security behind the ball and then see if we can make something happen in front of the ball, but know that we've always got enough men to deal with what the opposition are doing. +1 is what I like to see, but it is what it is. Defensively, their willingness to sprint in transition and the intensity of the pressing is probably the best in the league at the moment. And without the ball, it does look a little bit more like a 4-4-2. The 10 steps up alongside the striker, and those two will start pressing from the first pass from the goalkeeper. And to prevent more options around the ball, they'll keep applying pressure around the ball. When one of the strikers applies pressure on the opposition keeper or the centre-backs, the other striker is going to go and mark what they would consider as the most likely centre-half to get it. Rather than screening a passing lane through, they're just going to run at the guy they think is going to get the ball. And instead of the strikers, one of the defensive midfielders, often the more advanced of the pivot, will step up to mark one of those as well, which means that they do leave space in the middle of the shape. So both wingers tend to be a little bit narrower to deal with what could be a fucking big hole in the centre of the pitch, which is so different to how everybody else wants to be strong in the middle and then push your opposition out wide, but nothing comes through the fucking middle. Postecoglou's not really about that. He just goes like, we're going to hunt the ball where it is, and we'll have people readjust a little bit to make it a little bit easier for them. By marking the opposition centre-halves and defensive midfielders real tight, they do make it really hard for opposition to play out, and the narrow position of the wingers means it's quite possible for them to force the opposition to play to the outside, which is the trigger then for the winger to go and press and apply pressure. It's fucking great. I like it. Starman is Kulusevski, I think. Engine is ridiculous. He's absolutely relentless. He is a strong and powerful ball carrier, and the quality is with him there as well. I think he's a lot more physically imposing than people think when they think of him. Doesn't seem to ever get shrugged off the ball. Seems to get the better of most fullbacks physically. Will be as threatening as the very obvious Son and Maddison will be. And we all know how good he is. And under Ange, he just seems to come inside and cause havoc, which is allowed to just raid in those sorts of areas. Start 11 for United. I'm going to read out who's unavailable. So Martinez, Casemiro, and Mount are out. Amrabat is out due to international duty. And then doubtfuls are Anthony, Martial. That's Anthony and Martial. Diallo, Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, and Eriksen. That's 3, 6, 9, 12 missing. So what's left? Well, pretty much this lot. So Dalot left back, Wan-Bissaka right back, Evans and Varane centre half. That's all we can pick. Onana in net, obviously, before he goes to AFCON. And I want to play a more progressive midfield, but we don't have one. It's Mainoo and McTominay, because guess what? That's who's sitting there in the changing room, fit, ready to go. Bruno, which might mean that you see Bruno and McTominay try and play as a midfield free, because I think that would be beneficial to us in this circumstance. Garnacho on the right, Rashford on the left, Haaland on the middle. That's it. There is nobody else to pick. No one. You might be looking at Cambuala in defence. That's it. That's it. That's the entirety of what we've got. Out for Spurs. Son, Sarr, Basuma, Romero, Dyer, obviously. Whiteman, Vélez, Solomon, Maddison, Perisic, Lo Celso, and Ben Davies. Also 12. So it's who can get a fucking tune out of the also-rans best, innit? Key man for United, match winner for United, it's Mainoo. My worry is that they target Mainoo and stop him playing, because if they do that, United are going to be relying on trying to get the ball through Scott McTominay to get the ball up the pitch. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think we can do that. So you're looking at, can Kobbie Mainoo parcel up this entire midfield all on his ones? Class, composure, patience, football intelligence, defensive responsibility were most telling in this game because of the way Spurs get in and get beyond. I think that's still an area of his game he's got to work on. His defensive awareness is going to be massively, massively tested against a side that are so unpredictable and will raid and will overload those central zones. And not just him, but I worry that McTominay doesn't get back enough to help out defensively. He now thinks he's a second striker and he does not put the work in that. Do you know when it was McFred? Like, I didn't necessarily mind him. In a game like this, like, I would have a bit of McTominay, but under Ten Hag, I don't know if Ten Hag needs to go watch some of the videos of the games that we played at the Etihad a little bit and go, oh shit, I can do that. See how Fred and McTominay conducted themselves in those games. It was bang on. It was exactly how you're supposed to do it. And we don't do that at the moment. Or certainly McTominay doesn't do that. He offers us fuck all defensively and we massively need it. It'll be Garnacho, Bruno and Rashford with Hojlund up front because that's the fucking team, man. That's the team. That is the team. And then, you know, on the ball, you're looking for Kobbie Mainoo to try and break that first line because nobody else is gonna. But if United can get it up into the likes of Garnacho and Rashford and Hojlund as well, to be fair, you know, if you keep away from Van der Ven at the back because he's pretty good, you can hurt them. But, you know, they've still got talent in that forward line that could hurt you in a big, big way. So you're going to have to watch out for it. Right, we have got exclusive Parry Match partnership for you for this week, as always. And it's an exclusive bet, as always. Now, for the bet, I'm going with Spurs. I'm going for a draw. Why am I going for a draw? Because I ain't got the confidence in us to win. And I think the game will be so end-to-end. I just think we're going to really struggle with it. So I'm going for a score draw, both teams to score, match to be drawn, over 4 cards. I was 22-5, now it is 11-2. If you fancy getting involved on that, click the link in the description. And as always, you've got to be over 18 to participate. And we know that United are super unpredictable. So just a little bit of fun to enhance your enjoyment of the game. Obviously not a promise of any sort of winning. For more information on responsible gaming, please check out begambleaware.org. Once again, exclusive to myself and partnership that we've got with Parry Match. So click the link, get involved, or let me know why you don't think it's going to be a draw. Who's going to win one way or another? Let me know in the comments. Right, so how do we beat them? And it'll probably be how they're thinking about beating us as well, which first and foremost, pace in transition. They leave so much space in wide areas with how their forward and their fullbacks play and invert. There's so much opportunity for Garnacho and Rashford. This could be the game that gets their confidence back in the mixer. Secondly, you've got to track your runners because the third man runs that comes from this Spurs side could easily carve you to pieces, which means you've got to communicate and you've got to talk. Now, Johnny Evans and Varane, I like them too being in defence for this one. This is where Kobbie Mainoo's experience could get exposed, but he's a sensible enough player. I just hope he doesn't get run off because don't want him to lose his momentum. And then finally, it's be compact centrally. Like, they're going to throw numbers down the middle. I want to see Scott and Bruno working hard and not just fucking letting Kobbie Mainoo try and defend them 1v1 or 1v3 because it's bullshit if they do. But anyway, that's how I see the game going. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.